That's right.
And your t-shirts are too tight too, Billy!
Alright. Yes, we know. Everybody loves Edge, right? Everybody loves Edge. Not me! I'm just kidding. Welcome back to Strong Mid Card Podcast. It's an audio only show, so you know what that means. That means it's a solo show. That means I couldn't get Roger here because he's in the middle of moving from one house to another house, from one town to another town, and quite frankly, I didn't want to help him move. So, but no, I'm just kidding. He's a hardworking guy, man. He works a lot, and he had to move. So, you know what I mean. He couldn't be here today. But all right, let's get past that. Fuck Roger. Anyway, or blame Roger. Let's get right into Royal Rumble, man. The outcomes and the consequences, of course. Let's talk about Brock Lesnar before we get to Edge. I mean, I know everybody wants to talk about Edge, but let's talk about Brock Lesnar's performance at first. At a glance, and how he just completely dominated and just kind of destroyed a lot of people, a lot of mid-carders, which I guess is not that bad, but he also destroyed a lot of guys on the up and up, man, like Eric Rowan. He has a storyline going, but he's never going anywhere, at least not from the looks of it. He's not really getting anywhere with that that gimmick he's got going. The John Morrison thing really kind of threw me for a loop there. I mean, you made this big deal of him coming back, and just everybody on like Instagram and everywhere were making this big deal. John Morrison's back, yay! And it's just like people have been watching this stuff for a while, watching WWE for a while, and kind of know the landscape of everything that's going on. Kind of figured, okay, well, he just showed up on a SmackDown, not at the Royal Rumble, so that means he's probably getting buried pretty soon. And kind of what happened here. I mean, he came back to a lukewarm reception. You know, crowd goes mild and all that, and then he gets tossed by Brock and Royal Rumble and just gets destroyed. The ones that really confused me, well, actually, you know what? The Braun Strowman one didn't really confuse me, but the Keith Lee one, they had a lot of there's a great crowd reaction, man. Keith Lee's gotten over with the main audience crowd because somebody that big, you know, that charismatic, that likable, that can move like that. It's kind of, you know, when Brock first broke through and he was doing crazy moves, even though he was a big muscular guy, you know. Keith Lee's a big, thick dude. He looks like a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman, and can move like, you know, the way he does. And you know, that kind of threw me for a loop. But I guess you could say it's building blocks. He's not even on the main roster yet. Maybe they're getting a feel for it to see how the crowd feels about him. So hopefully that on that end, you know, it's good things for Keith Lee. He's a great talent, and I hope they go somewhere with that. And I actually hope they let him fight out Brock. So the other big news coming out of that, Matt Riddle getting pretty much jobbed out for talking shit on Brock Lesnar and Goldberg to guys who don't want to work with him. Gee, I wonder why, because he's probably going to make them look like shit. But, you know, not a surprise there. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Matt Riddle's at the top of his game right now, and here's a guy who can legitimately beat up anybody there, so he's not backing down from Goldberg. He's not going to get intimidated by that guy, and he's not going to get intimidated by Brock Lesnar. So that does something when you're the alpha male guy and you're you know what I mean? You walk around kind of not necessarily bullying everybody, but kind of intimidating everybody with your rep and you know, the way you act and that kind of stuff. And then you have a guy like Matt Riddle who's ultra bro, you know, just chilled out because he's confident that he can beat the shit out of anybody there too. So that maybe, you know, maybe made him feel a certain way, I guess. So anyways, let's get past the Matt Riddle thing. You know, hopefully they don't bury him for too long. Hopefully he stays in NXT, man. Fuck the main roster. They're not gonna know what to do with that guy. That's too much charisma. They don't know what to do with somebody that good. You know, they stick to dog food and, you know, pancake throwing and that kind of shit. So, you know, hopefully they'll stay in that direction and leave Matt Riddle alone. Let him rule NXT in the coming year. So let's get to the big news from the two big headlines. Drew McIntyre. They finally seem to be pulling the trigger. I'm not still convinced yet just because of what they've done in the past, man. I like Drew. I really do. Charismatic. Over as babyface, which I didn't think he would be able to pull off, but good for him, man. He's got the crowd into it. The countdown, the 3, 2, 1, the Claymore kick, and the way he eliminated Brock, and the people going crazy for that. It's just because, like, they were looking for that release, man. They didn't want Brock to win. You know what I mean? So they had two things to worry about. The crowd did, at least from what I saw watching the match back. It's like two things to worry about: Brock winning it all or Roman Reigns winning it all, and just going back to the same old shit for WWE. And Drew McIntyre, you know, kudos to them, I guess, for taking a risk, at least in the Royal Rumble. Who knows what's going to happen in the lead up. But as far as the Royal Rumble, it ended the way it should have. Somebody being built, somebody new being built. And Drew's got the whole package, man. You know, size. He can move, he can wrestle, he can work, you know, pretty much any style. Maybe not fantastic in a lot of styles, but he can do enough to make people look good and convince you that he's a freaking badass. So, good job to old Dingleberries. So hopefully they give him the title at WrestleMania. But you know what I mean, like the whole Brock thing and Vince's fucking affection for Brock and how much he's fucking pretty much in love with him, and just putting him over even on WrestleManias, where WrestleMania is the one where you're supposed to have the happy ending. But for Brock to lose 2 years in a row, they have to do a pretty good job of making you forget that he lost last year. So let's see what the buildup is. They have been at this business for a long time. They should know how to get you there, and then the big payoff. But we'll see. Of course, you know, this is one of those things where you stay nervous until the match is freaking over. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. Also, another thing to point out with Drew, other than Sheamus, has any other UK, or I guess he's not really, he's Irish, right? McIntyre is Scottish. A Scottish or a British guy ever been the main champion for the WWE? I don't think so. I don't think they ever, like, it seems like if you're a foreign guy, the only way you can be a champion is if you're heel. So that's also an interesting thing to keep in mind. Will they go face? I might be missing the boat here. I might have just completely forgot. Finn Balor, I guess, was probably going to be the first, but he's Irish too. But I don't know, man. Maybe if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comment section, because I'm right now my mind's going blank when it comes to a Scottish or a British guy. So you know, but like I said, he's ready. He's primed. He's ready. And WWE seems to be ready. Hopefully, they don't. Vince McMahon doesn't wake up WrestleMania day and just completely change his fucking mind about this whole thing. What else? Edge. Oh yeah, Edge. Edge, of course. Let's talk about Edge. Edge is back. Looked great as far as being in shape. Like everybody, we missed. I missed that initial spear. Then great way to go, Kevin Dunn. How do I feel about his return? Yeah, there's two parts of it. Because, well, number one, I've never really been a big Edge guy. Like, not really, even when in his prime, when he was up there. I don't know, he never did anything to capture me. I saw why so many people liked him. I know that he was entertaining, and every now and again he'd give you a great match, but I never, you know, honestly, and this is being honest, and, you know, you can fucking give me shit if you want, that's fine. I never really stayed. I would change the channel if there was an Edge segment on, or unless, when he was with Christian, that's different. When he was doing the comedy thing with that, fantastic. As soon as he kind of went on his own and became a champ, I don't know, man. I just, you know, ever since that promo where Triple H told him he was a transitional champion, I kind of believed it right away, and I was just like, ugh, and I never changed. They could have never changed my mind with him. You know, maybe that's just me being closed-minded, but Edge was never a guy I never really, he never really got a hold of me, and I was never really, you know, enamored with what he was doing as far as a solo heel or face work. I thought it fucked up that he had to retire, of course, like any of those guys. They had to retire because of injury or, you know, because of maybe he could dive with the next big bump. So I know that everybody was kind of worried about that. Even going into this, even though he was cleared, all the rumors leading up to this and him not saying, no, I never signed anything. It just kind of, you know what I mean? Like, there he probably shouldn't have just not said anything, but I think it worked the crowd up to a frenzy. So when he came out, it was that huge release, and that's great for them and great for the crowd. They have, you know, to get that reaction. Royal Rumble's the place to do it, definitely. Him and the Randy Orton thing, but first his performance in Royal Rumble was great. Everybody looked like they were in there to take a bump from him. And, you know, even AJ went way too extra and fucked up his shoulder. Hopefully he recovers soon and does something at WrestleMania. But, you know, remains to be seen. If it's about health, stay healthy, AJ, you know. I'm conflicted because, obviously, it's another older guy, legend guy, coming back and taking a spot, right? That could be a spot that could be for some younger guys. At the same time, they haven't built really anybody for that spot. So, you know, maybe they were doing that in the lead up. Like, let's not have too many storylines going into WrestleMania, especially for the mid-carder stuff, because we're going to need this huge room for Edge and whatever he's going to do. So I guess now he's going up against Randy Orton. Maybe they had a line that he was going against AJ, which would have been, see, that I would have been for. I would have totally watched, been hyped up for that. That actually might have made me tune into WrestleMania this year. But now I don't know. As far as the lineup goes, we'll see. I might watch it. I might not. But Edge and Randy Orton, they did a really good job of selling that storyline on Monday, which is on the flip side of it. That was a great moment. That was a great old school heel heat thing. The crowd going crazy because, of course, Edge. It's still, he's back and he's cleared, but it's lingering. People don't know when it could be the last time he could take a bad bump. I mean, any of those guys could take a bad bump and it's over. But of course, he has that history with it. So they did a great job of capturing that whole moment. That's a great old territory days heel thing. Like what's the one that comes to mind real quick? Like JYD when he was blinded and he was in the ring by himself, and I can't remember who was supposed to beat him up, but I remember seeing that way back in the day. Just like on a clip or on a VHS or something, but I thought that was great. Something like that, where somebody comes back from an injury or they can't do, you feel like they're vulnerable in some way. Randy Orton being a great heel when he's motivated, does great things. So there you go. Also, on a side note, I guess AEW made a big offer to Edge. Is it true? Is it not true? Who knows? But maybe he used that as leverage. I don't think he ever was going to go to AEW because honestly, I think as far as the storyline goes, it's better off in WWE. So I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad that he's making that money. And let's see what the storyline builds to, man. It might draw me in to watch WrestleMania because honestly, everything else doesn't really. I mean, Drew McIntyre, but like I said, the underlying thing of him losing and just swerve, ha ha ha, and laughing at the crowd, and that's good shit kind of stuff. Who knows, man? All right, let's move on to the other big news coming out of Royal Rumble. Charlotte wins again. Nicolas Cage, what do you think about that? Exactly. So, man, what to say about Charlotte? I mean, she never gets pushed. That poor girl doesn't get enough spotlight. I hope Corey Graves is fucking happy with this. Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble is definitely a safe way to go, I guess. I can see their what they got planned behind this because Charlotte winning, although it'll piss you off initially, it's a great way for her to challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT Championship. Yeah, see what I did there? NXT Championship. I didn't say the women's. Good job. Good job, me. Good job, woke me. Charlotte now being able to go. And it makes sense because, she's fought Becky before. She's fought Bayley before. Quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of those three. Becky, Bayley, and Charlotte. Not of each one of them individually, but around each other, fighting each other. I'm over that. So Rhea Ripley is interesting. And another thing, this actually could lead to all three women's titles being in WrestleMania, number one, and all three having NXT stars in them. It's a great way to build up the women's division to mainstream, like, okay, let's have Charlotte fight against Rhea Ripley. With the possibility of Charlotte winning, and that's that bad side to it. Charlotte wins, goes to NXT, and bores the shit out of everybody on NXT. Charlotte loses, you build Rhea Ripley. Does she stick around NXT, or is she ready to go up to SmackDown or Raw? Which, quite frankly, they need it. Which is, leads me to Becky versus Shayna. Shayna's definitely going to the main roster now, right? At least that's my feeling of it. So now you have Shayna challenging Becky, and whether she wins or loses, gets title or not, in the main roster, and adds more great talent to the lacking women's division. Bayley and Bianca Belair maybe stepping up, same thing, same situation. So those three matches intrigue me very much. So I actually for once don't mind really Charlotte winning. Yes, on the fact that Charlotte won another accolade and was pretty much handed to her, made everybody else look like chumps. But no, I'm actually okay with it because the possibility of those three matchups that I just told you and them stacking up their women's division, because in NXT they have plenty of female talent. So losing those three, it may be big at first, but they have a deep enough roster where they can build up more females to kind of take the place of those three that left. So okay, so that's pretty much breaking down as much as I can for Royal Rumble. Let's get out of WWE for a second. Let's talk about AEW and the current programming. I like the last episode of Dynamite. It felt very much like a old Nitro and old Raw, to be quite honest with you. The Joey Janela Joey Janela is I don't know if he does his own if he has any input on the little gags that he does, man. But if he does, he's great, because that was great timing. The whole him popping up in between the kiss and that freaking smile that's gonna be memed forever. Two very memorable scenarios that have come out of AEW have been. Two of them have Joey Janela, the whole flipping over on the chair and landing in it perfectly while sitting and having that reaction on his face when he did it, and then this one. So I very much like Joey Janela, and I want more. I want more from this storyline too, because it's real life stuff, and obviously they're all cool with it. Putting it on TV because everybody's been talking about it. So why not put it on TV if everybody's cool with it? Let those two have that little feud for a little while. It gives Joey something to do, keep his name out there, and it gives Kip Sabian a great platform to elevate his status on that show, and Penelope too. So get her on camera because she's great. The Cody match with him was a fun. It's very booked, very overbooked, but it was a fun match. You know, Arn getting thrown out like a coach, like you would see a college football coach or a college basketball coach getting kicked out. I thought that was great. Funny stuff. Dark Order stuff. Let's move into that. Brody Lee and Matt Hardy, two big names that could end up in AEW pretty soon. AEW needs some hosses. They need some big guys. Brody Lee, he's over 40, but he can go, man, and he took very good care of his body. He's in great shape. Let's see what he can do. I mean, I think he's earned a chance to go to AEW and show what he's got. Matt Hardy, as leader of the Dark Order, take my money now. Imagine Matt Hardy taking over the Dark Order, and him having free range to do what he wants with vignettes and setups and everything. That'd be fucking awesome. I am all for that shit. Matt Hardy is a fucking mad scientist when it comes to this kind of stuff, and I think this is right up his alley. Maybe it just fell right into their lap, and this is great. Hopefully they do this, man. I know it's very predictable and everybody kind of caught wind, but everybody's hyped about it. Why take it away from them? Don't do the WWE thing, and when people catch on to what you're gonna do, you automatically swerve it because now it doesn't look like you guys are geniuses, or like you want to pull the rug out from the crowd. Don't do that, AEW. Let's go with this. If Matt Hardy's in charge of the Dark Order, let him do it. I think their perfect first victim to attack is Darby Allin. I think all that's the Darby Allin, and maybe have Darby Allin team up with what the hell's his name, Jimmy Havoc, and have or one of them two, and just kind of have them, like this whole gothy dark thing going. I think it'd be great, and with that Matt Hardy craziness, I think that's perfect booking. Something for Darby to do where he's not just having random matches. Now he's got somebody that he's fighting against. I mean, think about it. That's the perfect kind of person that Dark Order should be going after. A young kid who's kind of seems almost on the edge, skateboarder guy, goth guy, whatever you want to call him, punk rocker guy. It seems like perfect pickings for them, and they're going to try to take advantage of that. Maybe he's vulnerable somehow. They bring up his past, whatever it is. Perfect storytelling. Go with that. I hope they do. So AEW, as far as the rating goes, they're very roller coastery right now. But it seems like they're kind of going to be in that high 800s to 900,000. Hopefully, we can get that up to 1 million, man. Like I said in the last week's podcast, that AEW and NXT should be doing way more than they deserve to be doing more. Both shows should be doing more, man. There's just, on every given week, the best wrestling you can catch on TV. The best storytelling, the best sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, the best old school. It's all there, and people rather watch pancake tossing and Monday Night Messiahs and all that BS, and divorce courts inside the ring and that shit. You got me, man. I don't know what the hell is the appeal of that, but hey, whatever. Those 50-plus-year-olds that love WWE, man. What are you gonna do, right? All right. So what? NXT. You got the hell's his name? Ciampa versus Adam Cole. That's good. That's gonna be a good one, man. It's gonna be a brutal one, I think. Maybe no gimmicks. I hope no gimmicks. Just let them go out there and have a brutal old school style of a wrestling match. I think their two styles fit perfectly. This should be a great match. So that's probably the only thing I'm really looking forward to as far as NXT goes. Is just that match. And quite frankly, I've been doing a bad job of keeping up with them, what's going on lately. So I'll just keep it at that. I'm not trying to, come up with shit just on the fly because I don't really know much that's going on there. So just I know that match, and that's about it. And was it Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne won the Classic, so now they get the tag team title shot. If they win, that's going to be interesting. I don't see them winning. I think the Undisputed Era is going to keep it, but if they win, that'd be cool. I'd be really cool with that. They have a lot of great matches for them if they win the championship. All right, let's wrap this thing up with some WWE news as far as the corporate side, I guess you can call it. Fired 2 of their presidents, their CFOs. That's, right before the launch of the XFL and right before the announcement of their quarterlies. Apparently their quarterlies is really bad. And I guess those 2 people that got let go were conflicting with Vince McMahon and the rest of his cronies and their vision for the WWE. So, they had to go. As soon as you dispute me, you're gone, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he's in charge. He gets what he wants in the end. So let's see where this leads to, man, because right now they had a bad 2019 as far as money goes. So we'll see how this goes. The XFL, I'm very interested to see how that's going to affect writing or just everything in general when it comes to WWE. Does it keep Vince McMahon away and more Paul Heyman and more, I guess, Bruce Pritchard? But I guess he's really just like a stooge, like a McMahon stooge. So hopefully keeps them away for a little bit and lets the creativity flow on SmackDown and Raw, and just kind of lets them loose, lets the talents loose, let them do more of what they can do, give them more ability out there or show their abilities out there. What else happened there? The house shows. I guess they cut a lot of house shows, so a lot of these guys aren't getting paid, man. So the mid-carders are probably not going to make that much money. Because nobody's showing up. I mean, the house shows that people, if you listen to like Meltzer, if you listen to Satin and all these guys that do the news, they've been saying it for years that even like Steve Larson, everybody's been saying it for years that the house show attendance has been really bad. So now it seems like they're kind of holding it to maybe big cities and or Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays or something like that. But they're stopping that, man. And the business is weird because as far as like reach, it's never been better. You have shows everywhere. You have social media. You have networks and, internet streaming, all that stuff, and you still are available to buy, DVDs if you want. And but wrestling's everywhere you want to see it. All these, the Fight Network carries all these different indie promotions and everything. And then turn around and nobody's coming. So it doesn't produce to house shows and the attendance on those, especially for WWE, that's not good, man. 2020 is not starting off very good, but like I said, a good WrestleMania can probably turn all that around. Honestly, a good WrestleMania with some good endings. Forget the swerve. Forget trying to prove to people that you're the one that's in charge and you know what's going on and you know how you're still a genius and all that shit. Give the people what they want and they'll come back, and the ones that you lost will come back. But it's up to this genius to see if they and his writing, his fucking 20 writers, to see if they can come up with a good WrestleMania. Because like I said, a good WrestleMania and a good Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, I think will bring everybody back. However, you got to build those new stars, and you can't just keep depending on The Rock showing up and Hogan and fucking Flair, at least just randomly. You know what I mean? Build guys, build Drew McIntyre. Let Seth Rollins go with this gimmick that he has, this Straight Edge Society or Monday Night Messiah, or whatever the fuck he wants to call it. Let him run with that. Let him do what he does as a great natural heel, and it'll bring people back. Get rid of Baron Corbin. At least give him something good to do. Let him have good wrestling matches like he had some in 2019, especially in the King of the Ring, where he was actually building up good rapport with people, and then you take him back to pouring dog food on people and wearing a fucking crown. You know what I mean? You can do this. Roman Reigns, where does he fall? That's another thing. Roman Reigns versus The Fiend at WrestleMania. I don't know, man. Roman Reigns isn't exactly the most charismatic person in the world. Yeah, he looks great, and every now and again he can pull a great match out of his ass. But Bray Wyatt, or The Fiend needs somebody good to bounce off of as far as like storyline progression, man. Daniel Bryan was great at that. You know what I mean? And Seth Rollins could have been great at that, but they made him look like a wuss. The Roman Reigns, he's gonna have to show emotion in this one, so that's gonna be interesting if that's the way they go with for the SmackDown main event for WrestleMania. But there's a lot of questions going into this, man. But I just wanted to get to the heart of the matter this week. these are the topics that I kind of wrote down during the week that I wanted to touch on. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And did I miss something this week? Did I completely forget? I know somebody told me last week you're not talking about Impact. I don't watch much Impact. The only thing I'm keeping eyes on Impact is not so much the Tessa Blanchard thing anymore. I don't know. Well, I'll probably get back to that, man, once this whole thing blows over. I want to see how she does as a champion or whatever. But I'm really paying attention to that Su Yung / Susie and Rosemary thing. I think when it comes to that goofy shit, they're doing a good job of that. I love Su Yung / Susie. I think she's doing a great job with that storyline. So I am paying attention to that, and I'm just gonna have set reminders to watch Access. I do have Access on my cable actually, so I should be able to watch it. Set that DVR so I can start watching more Impact again. They're building up a good rapport with me, man. I think they're doing great. So hopefully more great Impact throughout this year, and they get more viewers back. Okay, so that's anything else I miss? New Japan, I haven't heard anything coming out of this except for Ibushi being sick and missing the shows. I haven't really heard anything about what's going to happen. I know Jay White and Marty are going to fight at one of the Ring of Honor shows, I believe. And I know he's showing up for TNA against Aldis. So, Marty's getting out there. Good for him. I would have loved to see him in AEW. Maybe it could still happen, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with Marty. Hopefully he can show up in AEW and do good for Ring of Honor and for New Japan and for help bring back that UK scene, man, because the WWE has chopped it. Hopefully, just Marty, if you're going to try to extend a hand out there, everywhere, you should do it. If anybody can do it, the villain can. So, like I said, put in the comment section anything else I miss or any other topic I can bring up next time I do one of these. And also, thank you for subscribing if you have, or if you're a new listener, thank you. And don't forget notifications and subscribe if you like it. Thumbs up. What else we got here? Gonna do some more wrestling reactions for sure. 310. Hey, that's good. I didn't think we'd get up there, man. But slowly but surely, just keep doing these videos because it's fun. Still love wrestling, so I'm still going to do it. Thank you guys again. I'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to on the Twitters and the Instagrams. And I'll catch you next time. Go watch some wrestling. Later.
One more for the good guy.